It's a ritual performed at cold weather airports around the world. Whenever there's frost or ice on a plane, it has to be removed. At Toronto's Pearson Airport, the world's largest central de-icing facility, can be a pretty busy place. Their record, 509 aircraft de-iced in a single day.
Well, last night it snowed overnight, and as the snow sits on an aircraft for longer periods of time, it actually can melt on the aircraft and then refreeze, and then that causes ice. It was just light snow, and it looked like light snow, but there were ice deposits on a lot of the areas, and sometimes it can be difficult to remove.
These Danish-made Vestergaard de-icing trucks are the key to the operation. Each de-icing pad has 4 trucks and can handle 2 narrow-body jets or 1 wide-body. Inside the trucks, ethylene glycol, an alcohol similar to standard windshield wiper fluid, is mixed with water and heated to between 62 and 85 degrees Celsius. When the hot liquid is sprayed onto the plane, it acts as a heat exchanger, melting the ice away. Today, they're only using orange de-icing fluid. If it were storming, they would also use a thicker green anti-icing fluid.
Accumulation on an aircraft can disrupt the airflow over the wings and surfaces of the aircraft, and that could cause it to lose its lift, which obviously isn't a good thing when you're trying to take off. Also, the deposits of ice and snow could get caught in an engine, cause damage to the engine at a critical time. So every bit of accumulation pretty well on an aircraft has to be removed in order for it to be aerodynamically sound.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
The operator in the booth has complete control over the spray. He's got a bird's eye view, and he's got to be meticulous.
Visually, he looks at the snow and ice. He's trained to tell by the flow of the fluid over the wings where there could be clear ice that you can't see, that's not obvious. And he's looking for a nice, clean, smooth surface when he's finished with a very thin layer of glycol on it. So the aircraft is clean.
If there is a lot of accumulated ice, it can be a bit time-consuming. They have to be very careful to avoid sensitive instrumentation that's mounted on the outside of the plane.
If you can imagine when you get up in the morning after a freezing rain and you need to scrape off your window, and it takes you 20 minutes to do that just so that you can see out the window. And imagine after you had to scrape off your whole car, and then imagine how long it would take to remove that ice from an aircraft with a wingspan the size of a football field and a fuselage that's nearly as long.
Another fascinating feature of these trucks is that they are a one-man operation. That's right. As they move around the tarmac and while spraying, the man in the booth is both the spray operator and the driver. It cuts costs and
it also cuts down on communications. And communications is one of the things that can slow the process. You have to tell one person to move ahead 10 feet. And that communication takes a while. And if you multiply that by the amount of communication you're going to do throughout an operation, then your throughput drops. And that's what, one of the things that we thrive on here is getting throughput, getting the aircraft through and airborne.
Summing 9032, good morning.
Once it's been loaded, control over the plane is carefully orchestrated. Airport traffic control guides the plane to the de-icing facility. When it arrives there, it falls under direction of the de-icing control center. When the job is finally done, traffic control takes the plane onto the runway. They'll spray between 300 and 400 liters of fluid on a large plane. That's about 10 million liters a year. And if you're wondering what happens to it all, it is potentially harmful to the environment. Every drop gets collected. In low concentrations, such as from melting snow, goes to sewage treatment plants. But the highly concentrated runoff from spraying goes into huge underground storage tanks and then into this new processing facility, where the glycol is separated from the water, concentrated, and reused as industrial antifreeze. For Joe Forbes, it's all in a day's work.
We operate in the winter. We're in Canada, and a lot of airports have facilities such as this, but it's absolutely necessary to remove that ice from the aircraft. Otherwise, you just wouldn't fly.